In this question, we're being given a lot of information, but we can start with the outer right triangle. Because for that triangle, we know that BC is 15. We know that the tan of B is 3/4. So let's talk about the trig aspect of this. We're dealing with angle B, so that's our starting angle. And from there, you go opposite. You have your hypotenuse, which is across from the right angle. That's your hypotenuse. And then you've got your adjacent as the one left over. So in SOHCAHTOA, tan is opposite over adjacent. So tan of B is the opposite over the adjacent. And we're told that the tan of B is 3/4. So in the opposite spot, we can put 3x, and in the adjacent spot, we can put 4x. Remember, the tan values are not the actual length, they're just a ratio. So if we hear that the tan of an angle is 3/4, we're finding that the ratio of the opposite to the adjacent is 3/4. X's characterize that perfectly, because if you have 3x and 4x, then you have two things that are in a ratio of 3 to 4. So now that we have the 3 and the 4, there's two things we can do. We can see that this must be a 3, 4, 5 triangle with a multiplier of 3, because once you see the 3 and the 4, you might be thinking of 3, 4, 5 triangles, and then you try it out. Well, 15, that's really 5 times 3, and so that does work, and therefore the other two can be 3 times 3 and 4 times 3. So that's one way to find out that the other side lengths are 9 and 12. In addition, we can use Pythagorean. We can say a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and we can put 3x all squared plus 4x all squared equals 15 squared. 15 squared is 225. 3x all squared squares this way, and 4x all squared turns into 16x squared. Combine like terms, 25x squared is 225. Divide by 25, x squared is 9. Square root of both sides, and x is plus or minus 3. But since we're dealing with lengths, which can't be negative, we're just going to keep the positive, so positive 3. And we just found out that x was 3 a second way. So we can find it out using Pythagorean or using a 3, 4, 5 triangle with a multiplier. Either way, we now know that this is 4 times 3, which is 12. This is 3 times 3, which is 9. So now we can find the missing piece that we wanted from the beginning using proportions, because the big outer triangle and the smaller triangle at the top, those are similar triangles. They both have this red angle, and they both have the 90-degree angle. So mathematically, they have to have a third set of angles that also match. We know from everything we've been doing that this hypotenuse is 15. We know that we have 9 here, and we have 12 here. Now, the question also told us that DA right here is 4. So this right here is 4. If the whole length is 12, that means BD has to be 8. So we have 8 right there. And now we can solve for DE, which we'll call Y. And that's this piece right here. We can use a proportion and say 12 over 9 equals 8 over Y. Cross multiply that. 12y equals 8 times 9, 72. Divide both sides by 12. Y equals 6. And that is the answer to our question.